So, hi everyone. This is Allie, obviously, and I am here with the vlog, my first vlog, I guess, to answer all of the questions. So, without further ado, here they are. Great question. I think ice cream is always a one I always come back to if it's, in the freezer. So it would be ice cream, I think. I'm not particular what flavor, just as long as it's ice cream. I think another one would be Chex Mix. I'm a huge Chex Mix fan. I take that over chips or popcorn any day. And the dark chocolate Chex Mix is definitely my favorite. So I think that would be the answer to that question. By the way, speaking of that, if any of you are on Facebook, please look me up. I would love to connect. That's a great question. I love all the Les Mis themed questions going on here. My favorite is definitely I Dreamed a Dream. For reasons I kind of go into more in a later question. It's a beautiful song. I identify with it, which I don't mean that I'm like, morbidly like, oh, I have a terrible life or anything. But I think everyone identifies with it at some point. And it's just so beautiful, and yeah, that's definitely my favorite one. What's my favorite classic movie? I don't watch that many classic movies. I mean, I've seen some, but I mean, I'd have to say It's a Wonderful Life. That's the one that always just comes to mind first when I think of classic movies. It's just so incredible. I can watch it, over and over, and it just makes me cry, and it reminds me of, like, my parents especially, like, George and Mary are totally mom and dad. Not that my dad is, like, suicidal or anything, but he just does a lot of things for other people, and I think sometimes he doesn't realize what an impact he's really had on people. And my mom is totally Mary. But, I just love it. I love the message, and it's just an awesome movie. So that would definitely be, I think, my favorite classic. Okay. Yeah, this is a good question. Yeah, my sister saw it and she was just like, how are you gonna answer that one? So, oh my word. Okay, I had to think about this one for a really long time. And this is my answer. It would depend on who I was in the league. Okay. If I was Marguerite, duh. Duh, and he married to Percy. I mean, anyway, so yeah, that's a no-brainer. However, if I was just going to be a league member, then, not so much. I mean, it's kind of like, that would be a major letdown, being in the league and not, being married to Percy, and that would be kind of... So in that case, I would go with the Doctor. The 10th Doctor, of course. And that would be really exciting. But yeah, so there's the answer to the question, that it all depends on who I was in the league. Oh, good question. I have answered this extensively in an earlier blog post. I think it's titled Why I Love Sir Percy. You can find it on my blog, or it's also on the Daydream, which if you're a Scarlet Pimpernel fan, you have to check out. You really do. It's pretty awesome, and I know I'm biased, but it really is awesome. It's a Scarlet Pimpernel blog at blogspot.com. .blogspot, I'm sorry. So, yeah, he's just awesome. He stands up for what he believes in. He's not afraid to do anything for it, and he is just awesome. Plus, he's 6 foot odd of gorgeousness. And I'm quoting the Baroness there. I think she was as much of a fangirl as any of us. If you really, read some of those descriptions of Percy she puts in there, and it's quite funny. So, there's the answer to that question. I would really advise you to look up the post. I rambled on quite a bit about that, and could probably express, a lot better there than I could trying to pull it out of the air here. As for the other one, that's a very good question. Literary heroes. I know I'm forgetting someone major, and I'm gonna, get off and be like, I forgot him. John Thornton, although I haven't read the book, so it's based off of Richard Armitage's portrayal. Let me see. I like Gilbert Blythe, but he's kind of the exception to the norm, because I tend to like more, big alpha male, passionate, blah blah kind of heroes, and he's not really that. So kind of the exception to the rule. I like Mr. Knightley. He's probably my third or fourth favorite. Jeremy Northam is my favorite portrayal. I know that's controversial, but hey, to each his own. Let me see. I like Lord Peter Wimsey. He's adorable. I love him. He's so cute and really nice, and he and Harriet Vane are adorable. Love those. Excuse me, that's my phone. Sorry about that. And yes, I am a nerd. That is the doctor, and that is my text notification. So yes, I'm a complete nerd. Although it does get really awkward, like when you're in like the library or someplace, and all of a sudden you hear "Allons-y" really loud. That gets really awkward after a while, but it's fun, and I'm nerdy, so I really don't care. So was that 5? Oh gosh, I know there's more. I like Mr. Rochester, like Toby Stevens' version, and that's terrible because he's really not that great of a guy. He's really cool. Oh, that's really terrible, but yeah, I do like him. Out there, I know there is. Oh, I like Sidney Cartman. He's not really a hero. He's kind of an anti-hero, so that doesn't really count, I guess. Oh gosh, I know there's another one I've read recently that I really liked. It'll come to me later. I'll put it in the comments if I remember it later. If I could play any character in Les Mis, who would it be and why? That's an absolutely fantastic question. I would play Fantine. She is my #1 dream role of all time. Definitely would be that. I don't know. I identify with her a lot. And again, that sounds really morbid. But when I first became, acquainted with Les Mis, my favorite character was Eponine, because at the time, I literally just, a couple weeks before, I had my first major heartbreak over a guy that, didn't like me. He never saw me there. So, I really identified that. Every day I'm learning all my life. I've only been pretending, But as time went on and life kind of happened, I think everyone at some point, they have something happen in their life. It doesn't have to be as drastic as Fantine's, but in my own life, I know when I lost my aunt and my brother, it was kind of at that point where I really connected with her. Fantine's character, a lot of it is about desperation, and it's about having life out of control and you not being able to do anything about it, and there really is nothing more desperate than watching someone that you love and you care about slip away, and you can do absolutely nothing about it. And I remember moments during that time thinking that I would do anything to change that, and to help them, and I have the Lord, and Fantine didn't, and that's the difference, I think, between the two of us. But and so I hope that I would, in that situation, have the spiritual strength to maybe not go to some of the measures she did. But all that said, I identify with her deeply after that. And because her story reminds me a lot of some things that have happened in my life. Not as drastic as hers, of course, but just that idea. And it wasn't meant to be quite as serious of a question, but it's a very deep and emotional feeling. A very deep and emotional feeling that I have with this character. So yeah, that is my ultimate dream role, is to do Fantine. And for a less serious reason, because I enjoy melodrama, and I enjoy the idea of, throwing myself all over stage, screaming and crying all the time. I mean, that's just my idea of a fun character, and dying. So, and I Dreamed a Dream. I mean, like I said before, it's a beautiful song, and it has some really, it may not be really nice, but there are some times in life when you have things happen that you can't control, and there are some dreams that cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. And that sounds really morbid, but I think everyone at some point in their life has that, when they have something happen. Maybe not as drastic as I said before as Fantine, but when that happens to them. So to me, that is definitely my ultimate dream role, is Fantine. And someday in the perfect dream world, I will play Fantine. So we'll see. Keep your fingers crossed.